What's good, everyone? This is DJ's Raw and Cut Truth, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Shout out to everyone who supports new media. It's a family and it's a movement. So today's topic is probably going to have people cheer, or if you're a hater, have people lose their minds. The title is called LaMelo Ball is the Michael Jackson of basketball. Without a doubt, that's what he is. From his social media platform, Instagram, he has 6.4 million followers. Twitter, he has million plus. He's a star of a family sitcom reality show, Ball in the Family. He was famous before he even touched the NBA court. Everybody wants to talk to LaMelo. Everybody wants to get an interview from him. And it was the same way with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson did not have a normal teenage year at all. The same thing with LaMelo. LaMelo had to go to Lithuania. And even though LaMelo, you could see it in his eyes at the time, he didn't want to go out there, but he did it anyway because you're raised to listen to your father. Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was raised the same way. Listen to your father. They were both ridiculed. They were both praised. And it seems like an extra thing is always around people like a LaMelo, like a Michael Jackson. After Beat It and various albums from Michael Jackson, you started to see the same media that cheered Michael Jackson on turn against him. They called him a weirdo. They thought he was odd because he didn't feel like talking to the media. They're doing the same thing with LaMelo Ball. LaMelo has one-word answers, and they think that he doesn't know how to interview. That's further from the point. The truth is, LaMelo Ball does not trust the media since they twist his words and pretty much make his life a living hell. He sees it. So that's why this is an important topic today. And Coach, glad to have you on, my brother, for this exciting show. I want to ask you, do you believe that LaMelo Ball is the Michael Jackson of basketball, and why?
Good evening, DJ. How you doing, my brother? Good evening, Rev. How you doing,
Doing
my brother?
good.
Appreciate another opportunity to come and join with you brothers in some great conversation and also some learning and building and growing each of us in this new media, Nation United, DJ's raw uncut raw truth. So I'm happy about this and when I saw this topic come up, I was like, oh yes, I want to talk about this because I've had a very interesting life, family. Um, Most people who are not my biological family, when they hear aspects of my story, it sounds magical to them, like they can't believe it. So a lot of people in the beginning go, well, all these things could not have happened to you. You could not have been in all, but yeah, it just kind of have been that way. So I've been around a lot of celebrities. My answer is not based on lack of experiences of the celebrity world, because I've been around celebrities and some big ones, and I've seen, and I've been around big time athletes, and I've seen how they move and what moves around them. So I say that to say that yes, my answer is LaMelo is a modern day uh, um, Michael Jackson because he is starting at the base of his career with a worldwide audience. There's so many parallels too, being the youngest, also being the most talented, having the ability by being the youngest to see some of the pitfalls of those that come before you. You made some great points, DJ, earlier about the media and how Melo treats the media. Just so people can understand and give some context. I remember our high school players, the big time ones, taking media classes in junior and senior year at least 15, 20 years ago. Okay, so this is not a new. When these kids, as the numbers we talked about yesterday, these kids that make it to this opportunity, by the time they get here, they've been talking to the media for a long time. So they know how to talk to the media, and they don't trust them. Melo is a little different because of his path. Again, coming through Joe Jackson and LeVar Ball. Okay, you see that little twist I did there. Yeah, I see a lot of parallels between LaMelo's ascend and where he is, and Michael Jackson and his ascent where he is, and their persons, how they, what people like about them, what draws people to them is the same thing with similar to Michael Jackson. It's more than just one thing. Jay Williams, and I'm gonna pass it here in a second. Jay Williams on ESPN spoke about it when they asked a question, who's going to be the bigger star, Zion or LaMelo? And he said clearly LaMelo, because LaMelo has a whole life that people are interested in beyond just being a basketball player. They're interested in his fashion, and they're interested in his music sense. They're interested in his basketball. They're interested in other aspects of his life. So yeah, absolutely, I see it, and I'll pass.
Shout out to you, Coach. Shout out to you. What's going on, my brother?
Wonderful, Rev. How you doing? It's so good to hear your voice, my brother.
I'm good, man. I'm good. This is a hell of a topic that DJ has cooked up tonight, y'all. It's not a game one tonight. Well, not one I'm interested in. AD's dealing with this Achilles situation, so myself and the rest of Laker Nation, we hold our breath to see what's going on with that. So, with that being said, this is one of those cerebral topics that we can really, cook up, man, and just let simmer so we can get some understanding. For the obvious reasons that the brothers just said, man, the comparison is spot on. And shout out to you, Maurice Hamrick. How you doing tonight, brother? The comparison is spot on. It's spot on, man. Um, the one thing I will say about LaMelo versus Michael, because the times have changed, it's not as taboo for Black people to be, or African Americans to be, celebrities. So when Michael was coming up, of course, Michael was like something the world had never seen, but it was even more so dealing with coming out of Jim Crow, civil rights movement. Now, Melo has had a chance to experience this with his brothers and other athletes on not necessarily similar trajectories, but something that can keep him grounded, keep him down to earth. Even the type of music that Melo listens to and his brothers listen to, it's all about down to earth streets. You know what I'm saying? He always talks about he listens to a lot of guys out of Detroit, Lil Uzi. People in the trap culture. So it's very hard to get disconnected. I think at a level, Mike kind of got disconnected. I mean, when you're 13 years old and you're in, Elizabeth Taylor is bringing you into her bedroom, it's kind of hard to keep your feet on the ground. So, and I'm not saying that to cast aspersions on Mike. I'm just saying the reality that he lived in. But as far as the rock star status and growing up under the camera and growing up with a father who instilled discipline and told him to learn his craft and taught him how to learn his craft so that he would always have a way to earn from his craft. Absolutely. The unorthodox way that he plays the game is akin to Michael and the unorthodox style of dancing that he brought to entertainment. Yes, he studied the late great James Brown, but Michael had his own DNA placed into that. Coach was saying yesterday, and I heard Melo say this as well, that Melo doesn't really study. He never really studied the greats in the NBA. He said he only grew up watching his brothers. So Melo's unorthodox style is what's given these scout eyes and these old media eyes so much problems because they can't really compute what they're seeing. They can't really process it. So when they see him, they're saying, okay, he's 180 pounds. He didn't go through the classical circuit that it takes to make it to this level. He's unorthodox. His shot is unorthodox. Like I said the other night, he jumps when he passes. Like, how is he doing this? Well, he's doing this like my brother said on Twitter. He's doing this because he's an anomaly, just like Michael was an anomaly. You can't outstrike greatness. Shout out to DC Scotty. He said it. He's an anomaly. You can't put a calculation on sporadic greatness, and that's what we're seeing with LaMelo. If they would have kept the ball in LaMelo's hands going into the third quarter, Melo would have had 30 points last night. He would have had a 30-point double-double last night. But they went away from that. But that still doesn't fool the naked eye from what it's seeing on the court. So I'm ready to cook up in all aspects with this tonight, DJ. This is a hell of a topic, brother.
No doubt, brother. And let me answer this from ready to go because I don't want any type of, he says Melo will lose hype and fame if he don't produce because selfish ass teammates like Rozier. Despite the selfishness and even arrogant coaching, the fame will always be there with LaMelo. Win, lose, you realize he gets clicks no matter what. Bad game when he had 0 points, he was trending. Triple-double, trending. His name alone, good or bad, is why he's very popular. The fame will always be there. It's just how it is. They want to know more about LaMelo. They're intrigued because he barely says anything, but he has all this fame. So that's why he's getting the popularity. It's the intrigue. They want to get into the mind of LaMelo Ball. Also, just like the Jackson family, the youngest, people knew he was the best. They looked at Randy and Tito Jackson and everybody else in the Jackson 5, and they're like, they're good, but the youngest is the star. And once Michael Jackson got older, you realize that he disbanded from the Jackson 5, but he was still under contract with Motown. So they're still together, but he's on his own thing. And then his career took off. I'm not saying it's the same parallel, but you look at LaMelo Ball. The vision was all Ball brothers playing on the same team. That can still happen. But right now, it's the LaMelo show until further notice. And it's an exciting thing. Do you realize each game, a win or loss, we're still here to talk about what LaMelo's doing? Even if it's not his best game. We see glimmers of hope. We see positivities. We see exciting plays here and there. Ali Khan says still waiting on Matt Barnes to apologize, man, was completely wrong. Well, he's not going to do that. He's one of those brothers that think they're always right. So don't expect an apology from Matt Barnes. Shout out to D. Clark, New Media. Yes, indeed. New Media is a family. It's a way of life. So, Coach, if you compared LiAngelo and Lonzo, who would they be compared to in the Jackson family?
That's a good one, DJ. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay, let me see. I would say LiAngelo is Marlon. No, Jermaine. Jermaine, the pretty boy. Jermaine. And Lonzo is probably Marlon. I don't think nobody's Tito. That might be because Tito was like his daddy. He was more like his daddy, and the other ones were kind of like between the daddy and the mama. And then there was Michael, who was kind of like Nana. I mean, it's kind of, it's just funny to me. It's funny. I'm laughing because it's funny to me how when these anomalies show up in the world, and they turn the world, set the world on fire. No matter and no matter what field it is, because I'm one of these people that pay attention to all kinds of stuff. And so I just laugh at the obviousness of it when you just examine it, just look at it a little bit. You go, wait a minute. It reminds me of those story, those little things I used to do with my kids when we were growing up. When you're teaching them to differentiate between things, and there's a picture and say what doesn't fit in this picture, and it's the same thing there. Michael clearly didn't fit with them. Clearly. And if you ever watch Ball Facts and you pay attention to the them dudes, they always say that LaMelo is a weirdo. It's from somewhere else. Okay, they used to tease him and say that they got him from somewhere else. The other boys would, but yeah. So they always a little weird. We talking about that with Michael Jordan. And that's why Michael's kids, were not significant in any way athletically. Because first of all, Michael was an anomaly and he married a midget. I mean, a smaller woman, excuse me, a smaller woman. So, them kids didn't have a chance athletically, unless they, somehow hit the genetic lottery. But I mean, hit the genetic thing, and it didn't happen because Michael's the anomaly. And Melo's is the anomaly.
Hey, yo, Coach, I
Yeah.
gotta ask you. Corin Stevens says Lonzo is Jermaine because Jermaine is the second best singer next to MJ. What do you think on that comment?
Huh. Okay. Well, I was thinking of to be honest, Colin, I can't disagree with you because you came from it from a different angle. The angle I came at it from is LaMelo is Michael Jackson and the rest of them is bums. So it don't really matter. I mean, when you I mean, I'm sorry, but I grew up with Michael Jackson and went in the Jackson 5, and when when Michael started separating, I mean, it was like, who are these dudes? Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. I mean, you know what I mean? It's that. I mean, I'm sorry. So that's why I was looking at it from. You looking at it from more, what they kind of bring to the table, and I really wasn't, because you don't bring nothing to the table when the Jackson 5 with Michael's in the front. Ain't nothing to the table when he took off. And I think that's going to happen with Melo. When Melo takes off, when they give him the keys, okay, and they support him like they supposed to, okay, when they supposed to, then we going to see something that we haven't seen before. Okay, from because when you take all this soup that marinated, that LaMelo marinated in, all these different types of these different things that could break anybody. See, that's the thing that greatness does. Greatness makes you forget about there's most people going, if they try this, they will fail. They will fall flat on their face. and all will be laughing at them if they try the stuff that they do. See, this path that Melo was on, that's why he says he's one of one. He knows who he is, by the way. Just like Michael knew who he was, by the way. Just like Kobe knew who he was, by the way. So, you know, the great ones, they know who they are early. That's what kind of separates them, their journeys as humans from most of us, our journeys. Because most of us don't know when we're young. We don't know. We kind of have some ideas. Some of them know, like Melo, he know what. Like when they ask him about basketball, it's basketball. I mean, there's nothing else. That's why he was able to give up the video games and stuff when his other peers are not. Okay, they still attached to it. And I'm not saying video games are bad, so don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about something that takes up your time. And Picasso's them, they don't take up their time with that type of stuff. They take up their time working on their crafts. And that's the legacy Kobe left us. In his deeds and his words. Okay, when you love this thing, you give her this thing, socks, drawers, and all. And that's what Melo's doing. And people, and nobody has to tell you that. Nobody has to question it. What, does he work hard? Except if they just hate like they do on Melo. Okay, everybody know Melo worked his ass off. He always in the gym. So that's just that's just ridiculous. So yeah, so that's what I gotta say, and I'll pass. Thank you, DJ, for that.
You know what? And before Rev go, you know what parallel? When you look at the parallel, you said, "Man, that's almost the same." You know, Michael Jackson was known as a person that always worked too hard. They would tell him, "Hey, man, be like your brothers." You know, their brothers be chilling out, partying, doing their own stuff. Michael be working, dancing so much that people have to tell him, chill out. Rev, do you see a similarity with LaMelo and his family and the work ethic that he has?
Absolutely. Work ethic unparalleled. Unparalleled for a young guy, to the point where I was laughing at something Coach was saying about how you start seeing players around him start speaking differently. Well, I've been checking out these rookies, DJ, and a lot of these rookies have been speaking differently since LaMelo's been interviewing a certain way. I remember when Anthony Edwards came into the league, every interview was hilarious. The last 3 interviews I've seen from him before Charlotte and after Charlotte, he sounds like LaMelo. That's a testimony to the work ethic. That's a testimony to that it factor. And Michael had that it factor, and that it's one thing to have the it factor, but when you put the work ethic behind the it factor, now you cooking. You know what I'm saying? And LaMelo has that. I had to go do some research while y'all brothers was talking, because I wanted to, I really wanted everyone to go to this point in history on Twitter. It's going to be 5:20 p.m., February 29th, 2020. And this is LaMelo's tweet where he said, "I'm going to get the family together. I'm the golden child." Do you know what kind of audacity you got to have to make that statement in a house full of wolves, in a house full of men, young boys? Like this is what Coach is talking about with the Kobe Bryant mentality, the Michael Jordan mentality. People don't give Bryant that credit, but the way he's built his empire with his brothers, it lets me know he has that mentality as well. But for LaMelo to do that after the Alan Foster situation, after them blackballing, well, no, I don't call it that. After them whiteballing him and basically knocking him out of the draft, not allowing him to go to USC, because they don't tell the full story. See, they always try to say it like LaMelo was being entitled and he just wanted to go get paid in Australia. That's not the case. LaMelo was trying to go to USC because he wanted to play with his road dog. That's what he was trying to do. But the NCAA were dragging their feet because they didn't want that boy to rip up that circuit. They don't want LeVar back in front of those cameras in that way. So what they tried to do is Lithuania him again, but Australia opened up. But for him to have the audacity after all that had happened, because at that point, the Big Baller brand was at its lowest point. Lonzo hadn't really performed like people thought. Jello didn't get drafted. And people were basically saying LaMelo was a wild card you never knew. For him to say at that moment, y'all might as well kick your feet up. Lonzo, don't even worry, bro. Yeah, I know you big bro, but you little bro right now. Jello, I got you. Pops, you ain't got to keep teaching me the game no more. Everything you've ever taught me is already downloaded into my DNA. Now I was trying to activate. That's why LaMelo was over there balling like a man possessed. That's why, if you notice, let's get really, really deep on this, DJ. Every time an organization, and if we dealing with the anomaly, we gonna go deep. Every time an organization that LaMelo is a part of tries to hide his skill set or control his skill set, the Most High steps in and intervenes so that you have to see this kid on the world stage. When they were trying to give the keys to Aaron Brooks, one of my favorite small players of all times, played for the University of Arizona. Yeah, I'm a basketball head for real. When they were trying to give him the keys in Australia, what happened to that brother? He tore his Achilles.
Facts.
Once he tore his Achilles, LaMelo blew up because they couldn't hide it anymore. And I empathize with the brother. I'm not wishing any ill on him because actually, when he tore his Achilles, about a month or so later, I tore my Achilles. That's how I got stuck in Atlanta because I was living in LA at the time, going back and forth. So with that being said, LaMelo always overcomes every obstacle that they put in front of him with the help of the Most High, because certain people, the reason why people get that anomaly gene is to show the oppressed people that no matter what happens or what the powers that be do, I'm always going to show you the light and the way. And I'm going to show you that Babylon is not uncrushable. That you don't have to do it the way that they tell you to do it. And even when they think they got me figured out, I'm going to throw something out there that they never seen before. That's LaMelo Ball, bro. That's what this kid is. And like Coach said, he made me realize it when I was listening last night. Because I told y'all, when I listen to DJ and Coach talk, I'm really taking notes. I'm not just capping and doing something else. No, I'm really taking notes. Coach said that's why Rev says he plays like Jason Williams, and this other person says he plays like Penny Hardaway. Remember when you said that, Coach?
Facts.
That's that anomaly factor. So anytime they try to blackball this kid or whiteball this kid, DJ, look at Devontae Graham, DJ. Coach up here dragging his feet, taking his time, don't want to make the decision that the whole world knows he needs to make. First injury that happens, a growing injury out of nowhere. Next injury, now it's a knee out of nowhere. That's because the Most High is showing these people that you can't stop his plan. So even though I agree with my brother to go, how the teammates are being selfish and they are trying to hold LaMelo back, it's just like Mike. Like I remember, you know what I'm saying, growing up in the 90s, I remember people saying things about Mike and trying to discredit Mike, but it couldn't stop the star that he was. It couldn't stop the legend that he was. Bro, the NBA is not going to figure out Melo's style. He's 10 years ahead of the game. What you're going to have now is when these guys are going to draft for point guard, you know who they're trying to draft? The next LaMelo Ball. They're going to try to make Cade Cunningham the next LaMelo Ball. Any kid that they see 6'6" or higher, oh, he could be the next LaMelo Ball. Watch what I tell you. Go ahead, DJ.
Absolutely. Let me read this. Run it back. Good old running back. He says, MJ, literally the GOAT entertainer. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, he is the GOAT. And we all knew that Michael Jackson was headed that way. All right. And for me, my parents knew when they listened to Michael Jackson as a kid.
Can I,
Everyone. Yes.
DJ, can I say something about that really quickly?
Yes.
Because that was my childhood. Uh, 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 Michael Jackson was the only child singer that grown folks would play out loud. Okay, in the summertime and around us, they didn't listen to kids. In our day, kids were to be seen and not heard, and they wasn't listening to no little boy sing about something that he don't know nothing about. Okay, but they listened to Michael Jackson sing love songs. Okay, black grown folks, my people, my parents growing up, they generation did not listen to kids sing love songs. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. And that's just, I'm about to really go in on this. Much love running back. I'm glad you asked that question. Um, I know what you're trying to go there. You're trying to go and say that LaMelo would never become great. Michael Jackson, we know what his career is because we see his catalog. LaMelo is a rookie, so we don't know what his ending of the catalog will be. But what we see, if you know basketball, you know he has what it takes to be really great. As a starter, he's averaging what, coach, 23 points per game?
Facts.
That's a good sample size. And if the team didn't have politics around, he would have been averaging that for the whole season. Never know. Maybe it would have helped with the all-star voting, even though I think he had the votes already. But the NBA, they had other plans. And before you guys come in and say there's no way LaMelo could have had more than 200,000 plus votes, look at all his social media, look at his popularity, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. I've been right so much. Coach, I've been right so much in this NBA season that I hate being right. I want to be wrong.
Hey, no, don't hate being right. Just be like LeVar, never lost.
Coach, I had so many people tell me, oh, the Spurs, they're not going to do it. There's nothing going to be crazy in the NBA. Y'all guys are just talking nonsense. What happened today, Coach? COVID protocol.
Exactly what you said. Exactly what you said.
Never
lost.
Coach, I'm a fan. I don't know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, to these uneducated, that's why we do it. We educate. We re-educating, I should say, not educating, re-educating, because people under a false idea of who know what.
I don't want to go there, Coach, but I have to say it. I think LaMelo has a certain fan base that secretly dislikes him. They want him to screw up. You seen that movie, Coach? I don't know if you've seen it, Judas and the Black Messiah.
I can't watch it, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, but I haven't seen it.
But you know the story of
Fred Hampton. Yes.
Fred Hampton.
I'm from Chicago, so yes.
Oh, yeah, you know about this. Yeah. William O'Neal, they thought he was for his side. He was head of Black Panther security. He knew all their secrets. But he was jealous of Fred Hampton and his power. So much so that he came around and took $300 to help them assassinate the great leader in Fred Hampton. In YouTube and Twitter and fan bases, there are a lot of Judases around who say, oh, yeah, we love the Ball family. But soon as LaMelo does something great or someone says, man, he's helping the family out. Oh, he's not all that. You guys are just hyping him up. He will never be great. But I thought you were a fan of the Ball family. Coach, I want to hear your perspective on that, my brother.
That's a great point, DJ, you're making. Because what it is Uh, it reminds me of greatness is always a lightning rod. Okay, it strikes both ways. Um, um, a lot of detractors and a lot of supporters, which really amounts to a lot of people thinking about it. A lot of people, these people have a high usage rate in other humans' heads because we love uh, to be entertained by greatness, no matter what it is. We love it. Well, you know, and most people aren't haters like that. Most people, there clearly are many that are, but most people aren't haters. Most people can appreciate talent, appreciate people who have gifts and abilities and have been able to hone those gifts and abilities. And that's part of what we're angry about. And with this thing with Melo is because many of us are seeing that are watching this are seeing that this is not this is being impeded. That somehow this is not being let flourish as it's supposed to. This is a virtuoso here. You know, Melo's a special kind of a kid.
Coach,
Yeah.
your mic is pretty low.
Oh shucks. Let me come out and come back in.
All right, we'll do. Look at the
Run it back real quick before Coach comes. All right, so you always do this, like you make statements, and when they're being addressed, you throw your hands up and play victim. No one's saying LaMelo can't be great, bruh. We're not arguing the greatness. You just said, once again, I hate to have to do it to you, but you just said that he can't be that great. What crystal ball are you looking in? Are you in the year 2050? You know something we don't know? Because how can you say what level of greatness this kid can be? I don't understand. Like, what are you basing your opinion off of? What are you basing your opinion off of? There's no model for what he's doing. Michael Jackson didn't have 6.3 million Instagram followers when he was a kid. There was no way to really gauge that metric when he was in the Jackson 5. There was no way because it didn't exist. So whenever you put this cap on this kid, that's why people start looking at you like a hater, because no one will ever be on MJ's greatness ever. Well, brother, I don't know if MJ has a soft spot in your heart, but all records are made to be broken. And each model gets better and better throughout time. And it was people back in the day that was saying, oh, no one's going to be better than Jim Brown, and somebody else came along. So I just think it is disingenuous to say you support a person, then try to put a cap on their talent if you're saying that they're great. Now, if you've already accepted in your mind that Melo's at a certain level, then that's fair. But don't tell us that you think the guy can be great, but he can only be this great. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense. It sounds like you're speaking out of two sides of your face. Go ahead, Coach.
Coach, before you go,
Yes.
I want to ask you this. How do you
Mhm.
feel when people tell these young brothers and sisters that they can never be great? They can never surpass something. I think that's the wrong message for them. My message is you have the chance to be as great as you want to be as long as you see the Most High's vision or whatever you believe in. What do you think, Coach?
That's a heavy question there, DJ. Wow. Ooh, that's a heavy one there, bro. Because it comes with a lot of baggage. You know, we're talking about um, really how someone feels about themselves. That's really what we're talking about. See, when I say Melo can be greater than anything I've seen, he's already doing stuff that I haven't seen. See, that's because I believe that in my heart about me. I believe that I am limitless. that there's no cap on me. So why would there be cap on him? I don't have a crystal ball, as Rev just said. I don't know the future. And what's also interesting that Rev just said as well is that very interesting is that uh, he said to whoever that was, if you have evidence to the contrary, produce it. We're producing evidence every night that we're on this show, New Media, hashtag New Media. Rev, DJ, myself, Hoop Jargon, DKM will come on this show, AB, and we talk about Melo in all kinds of different ways. Keep enumerating all the different ways that we see greatness. Ain't nobody just pulling this out their passage. This ain't delusion. We're giving you chapter and verse of real life instances of him engaging in his greatness, doing it, and we're telling you this is what we see. And the response by some is, well, he can't be. My opinion's better than all your evidence. Well, that just sounds like
facts.
Okay, okay, that just sounds, or that sounds like, you know, some kind of problem you might be having. Someone might be having. I don't know who, but somebody might be having. If somebody's producing evidence to support their claim, and you're coming back with your opinion, well, that don't work. See, people are followers too. Many of them are followers too by nature. A lot of people are, and so a lot of people on this bandwagon too, because it's a bandwagon, and it's getting bigger, and they don't want to be left out. They don't want to miss out on something big that might be happening. So they're here for that purpose, and that's fine. Whatever purpose you're here for, but let's get this not untwisted. Okay, let's get this really clear. Those of us on this panel, we Ball family, and we love the Ball family and the Ball boys, and we love Melo. So don't get it twisted.
And Coach, I'm glad you said that, DJ. I'm about to step in 1 second, brother. Look, me and my brother DJ, because me and this brother been building. We've been building. When we speak all the time, we text all the time. We always run, going over ideas on how to get better and how we can make New Media bigger and how we can expand the family. With that being said, one of the last things me and his brother talked about before coming on the show tonight is what y'all have to understand in the chat. The reason why he spends so much time talking about LaMelo is not for clicks. It's not for likes. It's not to help grow the channel. That's not DJ's character. And like Coach said, if you really come to this channel, DJ spends most of the time moderating or sitting back and letting other people speak. So you know you're not dealing with a brother with a tremendous ego. So he's doing this because there's a war for information. There's a war for information. There is a war for public opinion and public perception. I say it all the time. The day and age of the 12 jurors calling you guilty is dead. If you're found guilty on the court of Twitter, you're guilty. Before it ever reaches the courts, before Melo ever played a game, some of y'all was already judging this game. You had the whole book written out because you heard enough people say that he was going to struggle with this and struggle with that and struggle with this and struggle with that. And the same day, and at the same time, these same people now are coming out like Colin Coward today and saying I was wrong. So now are you going to switch your opinion because he switched his? That means you're not even in control of your own mind. It's a war for information. Now, now that we've killed that argument about you can't cap a person's greatness because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, the retort becomes, well, is Luka great? Man, we didn't say anything about Luka, bro. But the argument keeps changing because there's something in yourself that cannot allow you to accept that LaMelo has the opportunity or possibility to be great. See, Luka's the safe bet. For anybody that was thinking that Luka was going to come over here and struggle, I never thought that. I saw a 6-7 point guard that was polished, that played at his own speed, and he had the protection for complexion. I knew he was going to get everything he wanted. Everything that LaMelo went through is going through his rookie season. Luka ain't have to sniff none of that. The Atlanta Hawks is a trash organization. Don't worry, Luka, you ain't even gonna have to play there. You're not gonna play a game in Atlanta. Mark Cuban gonna save you. As soon as you pull up, the Bleacher Report is already doing cartoons about how you are the next heir apparent to Dirk. He don't have to earn nothing. He don't have to go through nothing. He doesn't have to be systemized. None of that. They gave everything to Luka. But you don't look at that as a detriment. You look at that as that's good. See, Melo, what he's doing is actually greater because the Charlotte Hornets have given him nothing. Night one, they set him up to fail. Playing a rookie like that on the road, no direction, 15 minutes, he only takes 5 shots, take him out the game. Anthony Edwards, game one, was shooting every time the ball touched his hands. And you know what happened the next game? They played him more. But see, why does Melo get this unfair treatment? Why did MJ get that unfair treatment? Because the system hates change. And when they can't understand something, they feel like they can't control it. So I would be very remiss to compare the seasons of Luka Doncic and LaMelo Ball in their rookie seasons because your guy is not like mine. Your guy had the full support of the coaching staff. Your guy had the full support of the organization and still averaged more turnovers and still shot a worse 3-point percentage up until this point. So be careful because I see this panel is very sharp. If y'all gonna come over here and talk basketball, you got to know what you're talking about because I need to know what is the separation from Luka and Melo. What makes Luka so much better than Melo? They do the same things. They facilitate, they rebound, they score. So what makes you say definitively that Luka is so far ahead of Melo and Luka can be great? He can go down as an all-time great. But Melo, I don't know. See, we got to get that old media up out of you, man. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, that's what I call the old media exclusive talking point. Something they could search and copy and go to these YouTube channels to reiterate. Luka, especially his first year, had more turnovers than LaMelo, so I don't want to hear about LaMelo was sad. He didn't start because of turnovers. A lot of rookies turn over the ball. Look at LeBron James. His rookie year, he turned over the ball so many times. The coach didn't matter because LeBron was going to steal that basketball, flush it, put on a show. He's LeBron James. Now back to Luka. Luka, when people were telling me, oh, he's not going to be all that, I said, no, Luka is the guy that the NBA is trying to push. They're like, DJ, what do you mean? Blonde hair, blue eyes from Europe.
Let's go.
And he plays for the, I say the whitest team in the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks. Match made in heaven for the NBA. And he will not have adversity. They're like, DJ, you really mean that? I said, watch. He will win Rookie of the Year. I called it before it was even popular. And for those who knew me before my YouTube journey, or when I first started, when I go YouTube channels and give my opinion, they thought I was crazy. Look what happened to Luka. He gets the ultimate green light. He takes whatever shot he wants. And I this is how you ask this question to a hater that says LaMelo will never be like Luka. He will never be as good as him. He'll never be great or even better. I asked him, what does he do? What does Luka do better than what LaMelo does? First, there'll be a pause, and then they will say, well, he shoots better. I said, I
Wrong.
compare percentages. Wrong. Oh, Luka got a better handle. Wrong.
You know you lying.
Luka's a better passer. Wrong. I said, what else? Luka's bigger than LaMelo. Ding, ding, ding. The only thing he got right. He's more creative than LaMelo. No. Yeah, I said, you got to come up with something better than that. Now, you realize something. I'm looking at the comments. For those who are capping for Luka Doncic, they're not in the comments right now. I wonder why. Until they can give me proof what Luka does better, and don't give me no damn, he averaged more points, rebounds, and assists stat-wise. That's stat watching.
Usage rate through the roof.
He has the highest usage rate. Do you know that Luka Doncic has the highest usage rate in the NBA? Higher than LeBron James. Higher than James Harden. These are facts. I'll rest my case.
See, because DJ, if they bring it up in here, they're going to get the Ohio players. See, fire, do-do-do, do-do-do, ow. Something's burning, do-do-do-do. You'll get fired. Come up in here with that nonsense. Because we ain't about it, as you can see. We ain't going to be mean about it either, but we about it. We're going to let you know. No. You can't come up here with uninformedness, the old media tropes and all that nonsense. I saw something with Luka the other day that tripped me out, man. The NBA did this. I was like, are y'all really? See, I'm going to show you how crazy I am, family. I'm going to show you how much I pay attention to this stuff, okay? I'm sitting here watching one of the games like I'm like, you know, I typically, if there's a game on, I it's on because I love basketball. And so I'm watching the ticker. The game come on, I automatically watch the ticker. Now, it might have been on NBA TV. And all they were showing is who won and the stats from the two players that are from the winning team who were 1 and 2 in scoring. They because usually they do the two from the losing team. But early when the game's finished, they just do the winning team. So they went. I'm looking because I'm wanting to see if they're gonna put Melo up there. They're gonna put Melo at how much what he had. You know, I think this was anyway. So I'm watching it. That's right. And they get to Dallas and they had played, I think, Miami, and they had lost. But the ticker was Doncic had 46. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, let me watch this again. Same thing. Nobody gets any love. And he wasn't the only one that had scored a bunch of points and losing. Bradley Beal had been scoring a bunch of points and losing, and he wasn't up there when his team lost, and he was scoring 40 and 50. Because it's winning. When you win, it's winning team, except Luka. And you made a point earlier too, DJ. I wanted to say something about and Melo's leadership when Rev was saying about the Twitter feed that he put a tweet he put out he was going to take care of everything. He was going to get it right. If correct me if I'm wrong, but this summer before the draft and all that, wasn't LiAngelo and Lonzo down in Detroit at the gym that LaMelo was at with LaMelo's trainers?
Yeah, they both were, but Lonzo ended up leaving. But yeah, both of them were. But
they was down there with Melo, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there it is. Okay, pass.
Hey, yo, Coach Cole with the no look tonight. He cold with the no look tonight, man. I like what Coach said, man. It's to the point now we got to stand firm on our square, man, and we can't allow misinformation to rule the day. It's already the age of spin. You know what I'm saying? So don't come in here with misinformation. If you have a claim, be able to prove your claim. If not, you got to get fire roasted. and you got to get fire roasted so that it can be a teaching point. Because some people actually do believe this stuff. They're not even fronting. They just believe it because they've heard it so much. It's like one of those old ladies that watch the news all the time. And, you see in objective reality that what's on the news is not the truth. But because a person has been conditioned and programmed for so long, they don't see the truth. Adam Hearn, shout out to you for the super chat, man. Now that I think about it, you're right about Luka looks, because the other Euro that came before were very Slavic or Turk looking. He basically looks like Chris Pratt. Same thing with Canelo Alvarez, but I ain't gonna say nothing about that. Shout out to DKM. What's going on, man? What's going on? But yeah, DJ, I mean, this is a hell of a topic, man. I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard for certain people to accept it. The challenge is out there. If anybody thinks Luka had a better rookie season, the challenge is out there. We laid the cards bare. I was looking at something last night when we were doing the show. Dame Lillard and Luka Doncic faced off last night. And you had, like DJ said, some shines were coming into the live stream when the brothers were speaking. They were talking about, LaMelo was 7 for 20. He was inefficient. And I was looking at ESPN, and they were bigging up Dame for having a good game and him and Luka going back and forth. It was like 50 seconds in the fourth quarter. And Dame was like 10 for 25. And I was like, okay, well, how does you see what I'm saying, Coach? I'm
Yes.
like, so LaMelo's inefficient at 7 for 20, but Dame had a great night at 10 for 25. But you know what the balance was? You know how they balanced it out? Dame kept going to the free throw line. I watched them do it with James Harden all the time. James Harden will miss 9 threes straight, but they get him going at the free throw line. So this is why I'm saying LaMelo is having the most exceptional rookie season. He's not getting love from his organization. He's not getting love from his coaches. He doesn't get love for the official. Your favorite NBA player, I guarantee you, scores about 30% of their points on the night of the free throw line. If you take those points away at the free throw line, all those lofty numbers that we love talking about, the 30-point games, it goes to being a 20-point game. Now, add those 10 free throw attempts that they got to LaMelo's stats right now, and how many points is LaMelo averaging right now? 28 as a rookie? This is how they control the game within the game. See, you might fool some, but you won't fool all. I watch these games. I watch how they get these superstars going. If Giannis wasn't getting to the free throw line, how many points Giannis going to average? He struggled to get 18, especially when they build that wall, because he can't shoot. So all you got to do is build a wall, stand there, and take the charge. When the Milwaukee Bucks played Charlotte, that's how they got him going. They were blowing the Milwaukee Bucks out in the first quarter, kind of like they were doing San Antonio, but they were blowing the Milwaukee Bucks out. Giannis couldn't hit anything. They started getting them to the free throw line. So the reason why I bang the table so hard when it comes to these refs and this crooked officiating, because I hope that we inspire enough people to go on Twitter and start complaining about it. Because like I tell y'all, the power, and shout out to Fred Hampton, in this day and age is really with the people. Well, I'm not saying if R. Kelly guilty or not, I don't know anything about it. But he was guilty already on Twitter before court. That happens a lot nowadays. If you do a crime, they don't need any evidence on you. If enough people say you guilty, fam. So if enough of us are making enough of a stir about what we're seeing with this misfair treatment of LeVar's kids, oh yeah, it's gonna start a fire. Oh, well, that's not true, brother. Well, how the hell you think they're starting to question James Borrego? Why did he feel so much pressure to put him in the starting lineup? Why are they running around talking about Airbnb? You got to understand that there's power in new media and what DJ is doing and what DKM is doing and what Coach is doing. So when we come in here, like Coach said, come correct. because you with no nerves.
I'm gonna make this analogy with certain players who are favored in the NBA and others. You know, the complexion for the protection. As I say, I'm pro truth, so I'm all that what is truth is around. And I'm gonna give you this example. Two different sides go to court for a crime. This is the white example. Crazy white man, why did you murder all those family members? Well, Judge, I got different personalities. Schizo, my mental health doctor can even verify it. The judge will say, oh, we should study that. Roles reverse. Crazy black guy, why did you murder the family members? The black guy would say, well, I have mental problems. My doctor said I have different personalities disorder. Here's what the judge said to the black guy. Well, pick which one, nigga, because one of them's going to prison. Fred, Julius, somebody's going to prison.
Boy.
Y'all know where I got that from. I had to tell that joke.
That was great. I love that joke.
They do the same thing with LaMelo. Luka Doncic could shoot 7 for 30. Oh, he had a triple-double. What an amazing talent. LaMelo, double-double, 7 for 20, gets fouled a lot, doesn't get foul calls. He shot 7 for 20. He's inefficient. He turns over the ball a lot. Why can't he be like Luka and take all the shots he wants? I'm sorry I had to have y'all laughing like that. I'll tell you, new media is the rawest, realest show on the planet. Y'all ain't getting this nowhere else.
This is great.
Y'all pick which one, because somebody going to prison. Raekwon, Julius, Jarquavius. White guy. Oh, we should study that. Yeah, we're going to send you to a mental health hospital, and you'll be done in 2 years and go back to society. Black guy. Look, fool, we taking you to prison. I ain't got time. I'm sorry, I had to make. What's
DJ,
up?
this is so ridiculous. I have to laugh. It's so ridiculous that it's, some days you just have to laugh at this, how ridiculous this stuff is. See, y'all think, see, a lot of people think that, that this stuff is separate. It's not. Okay, it's not separate. It's the same. It's one big pot of soup. Okay. And all is affected by it all. Dr. King said it over and over and over again when he was here. There is no individual. Doesn't mean you separate from the whole. It means you individual inside the whole. We so silly sometimes. I mean, what you're saying is so horrible because it's about people's lives. But we have to laugh because sometimes it's just so sad. It keeps happening over and over again. I mean, I hear this kid, the one in St. Louis, the one that killed them people, that 17-year-old, that went across county lines during one of the Black Lives Matter marches and killed 2 people. He killed 2 white dudes too. He was a white dude and he killed 2 white dudes. That's why they ain't making a big deal out of it. Okay, by the way. See, that's the price of being white in America too. And for the white brothers and sisters that's listening, y'all know what I'm talking about. See, that's the price of being white. It means that it's time for y'all to be erased at times too, and this is one of them. See, the media narrative is to not to hold this kid responsible. So the judge gave him $1 million or $2 million bond. His mother didn't have it, so they raised the money, and they got that $1 million bond or whatever it was, and let him out. Now they can't find him. He didn't broke his probation. Last I heard, he's somewhere, and the courts went to his house and looking for himself, and they can't find him. He's supposed to be on house arrest at the house. He murdered 2 people on camera, and he's wandering around somewhere. I heard Meek Mill say this last night on an old CNN interview when he was advocating for justice reform, and the reporter said something all jazzy and funny. He wants to. They always want to be the devil's advocate when it comes to somebody doing something foul and shitty to us. If we didn't went through some mud and some horrible, just horrible crap, then we can play devil's advocate. That type of bull crap. So he gonna play devil's advocate with Meek, and Meek said to the dude, he said, to the reporter, he said, "Listen here, man, let me tell you something." He said, "They charged me with pointing a gun at a group of officers who had their guns out, arresting people, and no shots were fired. Do you think that that's honest? You think that really happened?" And then the reporter starts to go, yeah, I know. You don't have nothing logical to say, anything reasonable to say, because you don't really care. You're here to play the game, which is keep the nonsense going so we don't change nothing. Because anybody knows that anybody with any half a brain knows that ain't no young black male gonna pull no gun on no police officers with their guns out and no shots being fired, and everybody walk away just like nothing happened. This is silly. See, and what y'all don't understand, what many don't understand, is that this is what we're talking about, the way that Melo's being treated. Melo is being treated like, in NBA terms, like he's a criminal. Like he did something wrong, and now he got to prove that he didn't do nothing wrong. So that's why he's doing all this stuff, breaking all these records, double doubles, triple doubles, this, that, and it just don't seem to be enough. They seem to always keep coming up with some other excuse that don't make no damn sense. Like Kyle Rittenhouse being out on $1 million bond, bail of on a murder rap, not being found by the cops, then the courts. That makes no sense because they got jails, and if they lock his ass up, they would know exactly where he's at if they wanted to know where he was at. They know how to make sure they can find him. But that ain't the case right now. They ain't trying to do that, so that's why they can't find it. Conversely, the same thing is why Melo is being treated like he's some kind of criminal just for being Melo, just for being himself, just for his path. They want to make it criminal that he went to Lithuania. His father took him out of high school, and then he went to Lithuania, and then he went to JVA, and then he went to Australia, and then now he's how dare him? Who the hell does he think he is? Gonna go to them places. I mean, this is absurd, people. Do y'all understand how stupid this is? He's being punished for nothing other than being a young black man with a strong black father. Punished punished for stuff that he has no responsibility in. He ain't did nothing. That's why I'm capping for him. That's why I'm here on this show. That's why I talk like I talk when it comes to Melo and the truth. This is why. Because I don't like bull crap like this. And especially hurting our children. For no reason. Because you can. Not because it's good, not because they deserve it, not because they did something, just because you can. And you're a crappy person, you're a crappy ass person, you're a shitty person. Because this boy makes you feel inadequate. Because he seems to have it together at 19 years old, and you still running around acting like you don't know your left side from your right side without directions.
Coach, can I answer this from Adam Hearn? Because I think it's important. He says, and thank you for the 619 super chat to help grow the nation united. He says it's crazy. People think Cuban is being woke due to his stance on the anthem. He could care less. It goes more with his pro-Euro player view. You're right on one instinct, because once he did what he did with Dennis Smith Jr. Remember, Dennis Smith Jr. questioned Mark Cuban's comment about Euro players being smarter than players in America. Well, we all know most players in America are black. And he went up to Mark Cuban. A lot of people don't know this. Coach knows this. And said, hey, you were wrong. What happened afterwards? A month or two later, traded to the Knicks. Now, Luka being there played some part. But really, the final straw was when he questioned Mark Cuban. And he said, hey, Mark Cuban, I know you're the boss and you pay our checks, but you were wrong for assuming that all European players are better than all American players. And most of the league is full of African Americans. So, of course, Dennis Smith Jr. would take offense to that. So we know that Cuban, whatever he says, has no merit. He has an agenda like anybody else who's an owner. When an owner does, see, Coach hit it in the nail when he said that these people can give back all the money to the community and do all this charitable stuff and say all these nice things. But when you see their true actions, you see their true selves. Cuban is not an ally, a friend, or any of that. He is an owner.
DJ, let me say this, please. Let me say this. This must be said. Okay.
Right.
So we can build and understand. This is not about no individual hating, or ain't nobody hating on Luka. We don't. It ain't about none of that. Okay. So we're not gonna reduce this conversation to hating on individual people, because this is not about individual people. This is about a system that's in place that perpetuates an idea that is erroneous and a lie. That's based on separation, and DJ just talking about one of them separations that Mark enumerated. The European players are smarter. Okay, that just fits into that whole. That fits into all of this nonsense. We got plenty of literature on that nonsense, bell curve, and all that kind of nonsense. Eugenics, all that nonsense. Okay. So we ain't talking about no individual people. We're using these people to explain this is the manifestation of the system, which you don't see, the hands you don't see. That's why that's why Rev is telling you that they can make stars and make basketball stars and make singing stars and all these other stars. Not talking about hating on nobody. Ain't nobody hating on nobody. So if you feel hated on, you feel like somebody coming after you, maybe check yourself on that, because that's what's going on. Maybe you hating others, and it's kind of looking funny back at you. Because it doesn't do me any good to hate on nobody. Go ahead, DJ.
Coach, it's hating when it comes to Luka, but when it comes to LaMelo and Lonzo, it's being critical. They're just criticizing their games. Man, come on, man. See, these are trigger words that people use to try to knock us off course. Y'all know ain't
Right.
nobody hating in here. Y'all, they get enough love from the rest of the world and the rest of the media cycle. If you really thought we was hating, you wouldn't be on this channel. That's not what it is. You just hate the medicine that you're receiving, like a sick body that's trying to throw it back up. But you keep coming back because you know something's wrong.
Facts.
You know it's artificial stuff you getting from old media. That's what it is. And how quickly we forget about Mark Cuban. Every discretion that a black celebrity, man or woman, has ever made, or mistake they have ever made, to the day that they die and beyond, they never live it down. The Dallas Mavericks organization has a lawsuit from a black woman in 2018 that said she came into the office and Mark Cuban had nooses on the desk and was sexually harassing her. And it was jokes all around the front office of black people and how they treat black people. How quickly we forget.
Facts.
That's one of the things that really, really irks me, when people forget the wolf, because the wolf decides to lure you in with another trap. You just got out of the last trap. How are you falling for this? DJ really put it out there, man. That comment from Adam Herm really put it out here. The reason why this dude is doing it is because he wants more Euro League players. That's his prerogative. He's a quote-unquote owner. He can do that. But at the same time, we can tell it like it really is without being hating. And all I'm saying is, if Melo ends the year with a 32.3 point percentage at a rate of 3.5 turnovers a game, if he averages 25 points a game, all you're going to hear this entire summer is he's inefficient, he can't shoot, and he turns the ball over. I saw an article yesterday that said, did Luka Doncic have the greatest rookie season of all times? The man averaged 20 points a game on 31% three-point shooting and almost 4 turnovers a game. So LaMelo has a long way to go before he gets to those horrible numbers. So there's no way you can say we hating on Luka, and then we turn around and talk about the greatness of LaMelo Ball, and it's, well, no, I don't see that. Yeah, you don't see it because you've been given your other people's eyes.
Yo, Rev.
Go ahead, brother.
Brother, I'm gonna let you go on, but I gotta bring this up. Remember that video I made the second time the Mavericks beat the mess out of the Hornets?
Yes.
And I was talking about how Luka destroyed that team and he was balling. They must have forgot. Because when I brought it up and gave them credit, they were like, "You're right, DJ." But they took it another level, brother. They said he's a top 2 player in the NBA. He's top 3 in the NBA. I'm like, slow your roll now. Slow your roll.
But that's good, DJ, because if he is a top 2 player, that means a 19-year-old kid came down to Dallas like the 7th game of the season and put 25 on his face. So is he a top 2 player or is he not? He's not a top 2 player when Melo goes down there and watches him. But when he comes back and gets vengeance, like he should, he's a competitor. If I was Luka, if a kid would have took me behind the woodshed and, like Coach said, took his belt off, I'm coming to Charlotte to bust his head the next time. So I'm not mad at Luka, but y'all got to be consistent. But I understand why you can't be consistent when you're speaking with somebody else's mouth and you're thinking someone else's thoughts and you're seeing with somebody else's eyes. I'm more interested on this channel from this point on talking about the game within the game. I can't get caught up again ever in my life into the athletics because the athletics are not pure on that level. I can't be ignorant. And to fall back asleep and just analyze what we're seeing on the court is not enough for people with wisdom. So I'm so thankful that Coach is on here and DJ is on here. And these brothers really, what you seeing here, now compare what you're hearing on this channel to other channels with brothers. If you was going to other channels, and I'm not taking a shot at any of my brothers, I'm just keeping it real. They got to be debating. They got to argue and fight and curse each other out and disrespect each other's manhoods and set up a stream where they fight in the streets just to get views and subscribers. You're seeing brothers that this is very, very rare with synergy that's bouncing off one another with different perspectives, but they're all meeting at the same point because the Most High has put a mission in our souls to carry out. So once again, when you come to this channel, you got to unplug yourself from what you're used to. Because if you're not used to the real, once we give you the real, you're going to reject it. And you're going to just start throwing out names. Oh, Zion, Luca, LeBron. You're comparing a 19-year-old kid. You've already lost your argument. If the only comparison you can give to a 19-year-old kid that just came into the league are top 10 players in the league, you've lost. That was all, brothers. That was all.
You Rev, you cooking, brother. You got brother, brother, that was epic. Brother, you cooking, brother.
Yeah, it's enough, coach. It really is.
Hey, because I'm gonna tell you what you made me think of, Red. This you made. Sorry, DJ. Let me just get this out, DJ.
Oh, absolutely.
Look, you made me think, Rev. Today, I had a conversation with a brother. I was at Target today. Well, one of my little ones getting some stuff, and I was talking to a brother with a Dallas Cowboy hat on and a Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt on. So I asked the brother, because it's a long line. I said, brother, you from Texas? He said, no, yeah, but I live in Texas. I'm from here, but I live in Texas. And I came back. So, and he explained to me. He knew what I was asking, so he explained to me why he the Dallas Cowboys fan. And I said to him, I said, yeah, I understand. I'm cool. I said, but me, I could never spend a dime on none of that. I said, because see, they too blatant over there on that side. With we want your bodies and not your minds, niggas. See, they clear over there on that side about that. When you look at the hires, Rooney came up with a Rooney rule that they supposed to hire minority and black candidates over there before they hire anybody. And that didn't work. They ain't did that. They stopped doing that a long time ago. Waited till he died and then said, well, no, we ain't doing that. Okay. So I don't own none of that stuff. Not fans of any of those organizations. Those things. I follow the players. I'm fans of the players because I know where they came from. I know their stories. See, NBA, same thing. Lakers are only team I will ever follow. Have anywhere any of their is the Lakers, and that's only because Jerry Buss. I met him, and I know he is the only owner to put his money where his mouth was when it came to black men. He said he loved Magic, was like a son to him, and he took Magic under his arms economically and showed Magic the works, how basketball works economically. The business of basketball. He taught Magic that. He let him into meetings and introduced him to friends and money people and people to get him in. Because he meant what he said. He's like a son to me. He sold him ownership of the Lakers, family. That was a family-owned team. He didn't have to do that. And I didn't know this until when I found out, it blew my mind, that Magic Johnson owned at one time in this country 150 Starbucks stores around this country in urban centers, urban neighborhoods all over this country. When Starbucks wouldn't give one franchise to a black business person, not one. And that's what Magic used to leverage to be able to buy into the Dodgers like he does, and own a lot of the Dodgers. No other owner in no other sport where they have been making money off the backs of black men for decades has shown them the way. And I know plenty of successful black former players. Dave Bing down in used to be for the Detroit Pistons. Owns Bing Steel. Okay, but the owner didn't hook him up and show him the way. He used his own contacts that he made when he was playing. So that's how heavy this thing is with me, this behind the scenes stuff. I could never go back to being a regular fan.
Facts.
With what I know and what I've seen, what I've heard. I'd have to be some kind of fool. And I'm nobody's fool. And I don't believe any of you guys are anybody's fool either. It's just you've been getting what you've been getting. And that's why this exists. Because now you can get something else. See, we can talk about all kinds of things, and we can intersect all kinds of things that we love. We can show that that the love doesn't just stop with the balls. See, I'm so radical with it. The reason I didn't see the Judas movie, fam, is because I refuse to watch any movie that are about important black figures in this country's history being played by European black English people. I refuse to watch any of them kind of films anymore. Because it don't make no sense. I got a nephew. Looked just like Fred Hampton when he was 22, 23. He's an actor too, got a degree from Northern University. Got an interview, couldn't get the job. I ain't mad at David Kaluuya. Okay, he didn't hire himself. But this is what we're talking about. Black people hired him over other black actors, and when these jobs are scarce, they're scarce for black actors and males, scarce and females, scarce. And we can't even play our own people. They got Cynthia Vivo, this sister. They didn't pick her to play two people that are like our iconic figures. First, she played Harriet Tubman. We can't have Harriet Tubman.
Worst movie of all time.
Okay, and now she's playing Whitney. Oh my God, really? And guess who's behind that? Ron Howard and Ron Glacier, two big Hollywood, huge heavy hitters. When this is supposed to be Jennifer Hudson's time. And she did a movie too. She gonna be Whitney too. It was supposed to be just her. They didn't slid in Cynthia Wevo to play Whitney Houston. British black Brits played Dr. King and Coretta Scott King. We can't have Dr. King even. And then to add insert to injury, this movie about the four motels, the motel where Dr. King and Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali and them, that the sister Regina King did. She hired one of them European brothers to come over here to play Malcolm X.
Made Malcolm look like a punk in the movie, all kind of stuff, man.
Malcolm X. We can't even have Malcolm X. And you know what she said? I heard it out of her own mouth. She's one of us. She's an American black too. She's one of us. Had it hard. I remember when she started, when she was doing them old BS roles, just trying to get a foot in the door. And now she got a foot in the door, and she had the nerve to say that she had to hire this man because they work harder than American black men. Black actors, she said. She actually fixed her lips and said that they work harder, that they come more prepared. You guys don't understand how deep this thing is. This thing is deep.
Coach, you see this comment right here? A Payne, shout out to A Payne. He says the game within the game, it's happening at all levels.
All levels.
See? Man, Coach, let me slide in real quick, and I want you to go right back in. DJ, please,
no, go ahead.
Please follow up. What I'm about to say is it's a jagged little pill, man. It's a jagged little pill. I know we got a lot of brothers and sisters that listen in the UK. Unoriginal Truth One, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that listens worldwide. But what Coach is shedding light on, and all of it is relevant. It comes all back around to people like LeVar Ball. The way this false supremacy, that's what I call it. I don't call it white supremacy. I call it false supremacy. Because once words are powerful. And if you even say that enough, it becomes an admission to yourself. And I grew up around the worldwide. And it's nothing supreme. I'm going to leave it at that. With that being said, false supremacy, they look at the African American as prize chattel. See, what they did to the African American, that chattel, they don't ever want to give that hold up. They don't ever want to slacken that grip because it's a case study for how to try to break the spirit of a people. They're okay with the brothers from London. They still look at them as the N-word at the end of the day. Let's not get it twisted. But it's still different. Just like with our African brothers and sisters, my mother's Nigerian. They look at it differently. But when it comes to the African American, there's 2 lanes that you can succeed in, really 3. 1, sports. 2, entertainment. Those are the ways you can be exceptional. And if you're going to play the business game, if you're going to play the traditional game, you better assimilate and do it our way. And if you don't do it our way, then you're going to have problems. This is the reality of it. So that's why they don't have any problem reaching out to actors from Britain and actors from other countries that are African descent, because they look at them as different. They still look at the African American as their possession. So that's why they get so upset when they hear people like LeVar Ball say, nah, you're not going to own my kids. That's what we're not going to do. You're not going to take all the money from my children and they have no ownership. That's why they have, because in their mind, they're thinking, I just got to be raw. Because this channel was originally called DJ's Raw Uncut Truth. They're thinking to themselves, what kind of uppity end has the gall to talk to us like that? He gonna try to play our game on us. Oh, so he thinks he's special. Okay, we gonna hit him from all fronts. We gonna have snakes in his camp. We gonna have media turn against him. We gonna have scouts turn against him, and we gonna get some of these professional players who used to play the game dog out his sons and tell him, if you want more camera time, talk bad about the Ball family. This is the warfare they play. So, Coach, you absolutely right. You're absolutely right, brother.
DJ, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll go ahead real quick and say Big Body Gaming is correct. The world wants black culture, not black people. Someone has to say it. I'll say it. It's the truth. You go overseas, they love black culture. They're wearing what we're wearing. They embrace our music, the hip hop, R&B, you name it, the swag, everything that comes with being a American black man and woman. But they don't want to have us have power, because today's, like my grandfather once told me, he said, man, you can't treat these brothers and sisters like you did back in the day. They'll swing at you. That's what he used to always say. But like, Earl, you remember that time he was talking about how he was at some breakfast joint, right? Was refused a seat because it was whites only. And he will always say, man, I love the energy of these kids. Never a hater. This is why they don't give us opportunity. And that's why I always say on my show, it's about creating a seat at the table, not waiting for one. Here at New Media, we will never wait for a seat at the table. We're creating our own with New Media Nation United. You see what they're doing in music. You see what they're doing in films. You can't even put your own people to represent the best in history. Fred Hampton, the Martin Luther King movie. Couldn't even put a strong sister from America to play the very wonderful, courageous Coretta Scott King. Couldn't even do that. And then put a beta male European brother. And shout out to the Europeans. You guys are cool with me, but I'm just putting it to perspective. Did the same thing with Malcolm in that movie. So let me get this straight. If it's not Denzel, if it's not Morgan Freeman, if it's not Sidney Poitier,
Samuel Jackson,
Eddie Murphy, if it's not those brothers, then nobody else is qualified. It's pathetic, man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Rev and DJ, you guys hitting the buttons, man. We hitting the buttons tonight. Hitting the big bells tonight. This stuff is bringing up so much for me. I mean, this is, I've been living this my whole life, and I've been ostracized because of it my whole life as well by many of my family members and friends and people telling me, Joe, you're too serious. Stop being so serious. I'm like, well, isn't this serious? And I mean, yeah, but you don't have to be so serious. Oh, okay, all right. I don't know how we don't need to be so serious about something that is so serious. It always disconnected me. It's see, I watched the takeover here in California of the AAU, the brothers doing the AAU in the hood, opening their gyms and doing the AAU stuff. Izzy and I'm talking about, don't you, Red? And some of these other brothers.
Yes, sir.
And slowly but surely, you start seeing the demographics changing. Start seeing the locations of the gyms changing. Now they're not in the inner city no more. They're not in the hood no more. Now it's changing. Oh wow, okay. Now the entrance fees are starting to change as well. Oh shucks, and then the coaches and the player. Wow, and then pretty soon, before you know it, ain't nobody black running the tournaments no more. Our boys are now all in the hands of somebody else. Get no opportunity. See, football. The one of the reasons I'm vehemently against what they stand for is because they're blatant about their message. They're blatant. They're not pulling any punches. They're not trying to fool anybody. Not trying to say they're not that way. They're saying it straight out. Listen, we want your bodies. Do you understand us? And we want them to use them. We'll pay for a few of them. And most people who know anything about football knows that most of those rosters are free agents are on those rosters on non-guaranteed contracts, by the way. Okay? And when they get hurt, they truly screw. Okay, so they're not making the Deshaun Watson and the Patrick Mahomes money and the Brady money and all. They're not making that money. That money is in the hands of a few people. Remember, the rosters are 53 people, not including the practice squad. See, remember the business people here, the business model that they like. It's only one business model they've ever really liked, meaning they've embraced it in their legislation, they embraced it in their actions, embraced it in their laws. Okay, the only kind they like is free labor or really, really, really low cost. Almost don't pay nothing. just about free. Okay, so that's what we're working. We're working with people with that mentality. They don't really want to pay their fair share anyway. They want something for nothing or very little nothing. So when you have hires every year and you don't put blacks in place, and they 75% of the teams of every team of the league, and the general managers is only one, and then you know, but none of the rest of them, and you keep hiring these younger dudes. You keep hiring these young, so that tells you right there where they're going, where the future is going. Okay, they telling you these are this is a new breed. This is the new breed that we're trying to find the new Chuck Knowles, the new Starbucks. Ted Landry's, the new John Maddens and Chuck Knowles. We're trying to find the new Belichick's. Okay, and they don't look like us. They don't want them to look like us. Don't want them to have nothing to do with us. So they tell you there, we don't want your mind. General manager, we don't want your mind. Ownership, no, we don't want your money. Because there's some brothers that tried to buy teams. Puffy thought he was going to get one at one time. They let him know, we don't want your money.
Facts.
See, this idea that if you have money, it'll mitigate it. No,
Talk
there's
on it,
air
Coach.
that is so high that money does not reach. Okay, sorry to tell you, sorry to bust some bubbles tonight if I'm busting in it. Okay, no, it's a lot of things they won't do for money. You can't have enough to get it. Okay.
Yo, Coach.
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, DJ.
I'm sorry. Guess who's gonna play? Since they allowing everybody but American black brothers and sisters to play different roles, and after what I say, I'm gonna have Rev cook as well. Guess who's gonna play Cicely Tyson?
Oh, who?
Meryl Streep. Fantastic actor. She played the Ebony Beauty to a T. What a wonderful actor. She deserves an Oscar. That should put her in the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
She is strong. She represented the strongest of black women. There you go. If you're not laughing, of course.
That's just crazy. That's just crazy. I mean, again, we have to laugh because something to keep from crying.
Your coach, your mic.
Okay, I'm going to come out again.
If Coach can hear me, I really want him to pick up where he started before DJ was pointing out that thing that happens in Hollywood all the time, where they get someone who's not from the culture at all to play these historical figures, like who was it? Daniel Day-Lewis in The Last Mohican, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai. You know, that's a real thing. But Coach, please, as soon as I'm done telling this story, I really would like you to pick up with that line of thought, because when I'm on mute, I'm normally texting DJ. If I'm not texting DJ, I'm really taking notes, because it's hard to get this kind of content.
Okay.
Like I'm not underselling what we're doing. Like really, this is deep. When we're done with the shows, I fall asleep listening to the shows, because I want my frequencies always to stay high, even in sleep. Shout out to my brother Jones. I ain't give you my shout out tonight. That's my partner right there. That's my brother right there. Shout out to my brother Jones. He said, "Yep, Puff thought he was going to buy the Panthers." Absolutely, absolutely. But I want to tell a real quick story, and then I'm passing it back to Coach. Somebody asked the question, and I know Coach can piggyback on this. That's why I'm doing it this way. I can't remember who it was, but somebody in the chat asked the question about AAU basketball. And I don't know if you're asking for maybe your son, or you're asking for somebody, if you're a younger individual, you're asking for advice. You were asking, does AAU basketball help you make it? And the sad reality is, most times, no. If you're in the right situation, around the right people and you get the right team that is interested in you, absolutely. But on average, no. But that's not always a bad thing on a community level because, like Coach said, you might meet some good brothers and sisters that put together a team that gets sponsorship, and it gives you a chance as a young person from, from a certain background to travel and see things that you haven't got to see. Also, it always builds a bond. If you're playing with guys in your region, it helps to get to know one another. It helps to get past just viewing each other as an athlete or a competitor on another team. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, I remember in high school, it was so competitive for us. The other player we faced, we really lost the humanity in it. It was dog eat dog. You know what I'm saying? So when you go on the AU circuit and you're playing with a guy from a rival school, a lot of times it gives you another perspective of their life and what they're going through, and you build bonds throughout time. But this is the story I wanted to tell, and I'm gonna pass it to Coach. Now I'm a very, what I do in the entertainment business, that's one thing. That's public. My personal life is private, and it's private for reasons. But with that being said, I'm gonna let y'all into my private life for a second. The reason why I despise that system, not all of the AAU coaches and not all the AAU teams, but the AAU situation all the way up to I used to call they used to be called the 4 major camps, and now it's not really like that anymore, is because I saw it tear down brothers. I saw it tear down NBA level talent. I'm not gonna name these two people's name because I don't want to cast anything on them, because I think one of them is a coach for a major university. They coach with a major university, and the other one coaches for a high school. But I gotta tell this story because you asked that question. So I remember being in the 11th grade, 10th grade, going to the 11th grade, and I got invited to a prestigious camp called the 5-Star Basketball Camp. It was ran by a man named Howard Garfinkel. One of the guys that I looked up to that went to the camp a couple years before me, and his cousin, who was a legend in the SEC, played SEC basketball, he went to the camp as well. But we always wondered why this guy wasn't considered a lottery pick, because his college career at the point guard position during the time was the model college career. We wondered why he didn't get certain perks that other people didn't get. So I remember his cousin, the one that was a little bit older than me, telling me the story of what happened. So after I heard the story of what happened, I get invited to this camp myself. So I remember flying to Virginia, being excited to go play with the best players in America. That's the narrative that I was sold. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, man. A lot of people ain't going to say what I'm about to say, and I'm talking from a player's perspective. So anyone who played ball, hoop jargon, or any other brother that comes on the panel that really hooped out, they might have a different perspective. But this is my perspective. I was told we were going to play the best players in the nation, and that these guys were so much better than everything we saw locally. I got to that camp and I saw guys that I knew from the neighborhood could have washed them up. I saw guys that I knew were all hype. And when I realized the reason why they white ball that guy's cousin, it almost made me cry. I found out the reason why they did that is because this young man, instead of going to the 3rd major camp, which was at the time, second major camp, which was 5-star, he refused and wanted to play locally during the summertime for an African-American brother who was scraping up money to make an AAU team in a small town in the South. He wanted to support that brother and be a star player who was ranked in the nation and build that brother's AAU team up. Just because this man did that as a teenager in high school, he was whiteballed his entire career. This is a fact. We were at the the camp, and his cousin, who was a few years older than me, was in another division. And I never forget, they told Howard Garfinkel, and he's passed on now, they told him whose cousin that was. Because all of the scouts and all of the coaches had started surrounding this one court because my guy was cooking every recruit that they were bringing out there. If I can name some of the names, and some of these guys are in the NBA, were in the NBA. They're on their way out now. But some of these guys were major recruits. And I watched with my own two eyes this guy barbecue cook them to the point where there were people lining the gates. And when Garfinkel found out whose cousin that was, he turned around and walked away. That's the game within the game. Even though this man had an exceptional performance and was considered one of the best players and went to the 5-star basketball all-star game, he wasn't treated fairly, all because his cousin, a few years earlier, well, more than a few years earlier, refused to play the game within the game and wanted to give back to his community. So we can't underestimate how deep these things go. It's so much deeper than sports. And that's why Coach says things like he is a fan of players and not teams. Don't think that everybody in the NBA is good. That's not true. That is a misnomer. They might be tall, they might be athletic, but that doesn't mean they're good. Go ahead, Coach.
Wow, your facts. Wow, Rev, you hit. Right, you brought me back to these camps. Wow. I don't know what the person asked about the AAU thing, so I'll just say it this way. In that movie Field of Dreams, you guys remember that one famous line, if you build it, they will come. I mean, that's the famous line, if you build it, they will come. Well, they use that's old, that's an old adage is what that is. They turned that into for the movie, but it's something that's been a saying in life for years and generations. And basically what it is that the reason LeVar made such an impact, you spoke about it the other day, Rev. All of the change that he left in his wake, just being him, just doing what he wants, just living his dream, just being him. It changed so many things. That's what the system is afraid of. See. Now, the reason he existed is because it was needed. The universe, the Most High, said this is needed because the current system has never been sustainable, and it's crumbling as we speak. Because this man was able to shun all of your overtures, all the stuff you tried to help him with and tried to get him to be involved in and get his sons in. He said no, no, and no. See, and they don't stop. They don't just ask you once. They keep after you. They wear you down until they can find a way to push a button that you can't refuse. You can't say no to. LeVar was always able to say no. Think about this for a second. Y'all heard the numbers, okay, yesterday. 0.03% of high school kids that play high school basketball make the pros. LeVar had 3 of them, and maybe 4 in this draft coming up, and then 5 if Jello makes it. You realize how that's like getting struck by lightning 3 times in a row. Something crazy. It's not even thought. He listen. He was not a feeder program. He didn't have his infrastructure was, he wasn't a high school coach that had the infrastructure of the high school team and everything that comes with that. He wasn't a agent and had a coach for an agent. So the agent is feeding him money to work. He was a dad, a neighborhood dad who worked out his kids and worked out neighborhood kids. And whatever he was doing produced, because that's what the world is based on. It's a cookie cutter world we live in. That's why Rev was saying just a second ago that they're gonna be looking for the next Melo. See, they already think Melo is the next Curry. Many people think that I've heard that he's the next Curry. So what we're saying is that this is all this stuff is connected, and it's connected to keep a system in place that has always been in place, but to keep it in place in a smooth way where it doesn't cause disruption, so it looks like it's just normal. See, I would never be against any African brothers and sisters, or any brothers and sisters from the diaspora, no matter where they are, South America, Europe, or Central America, wherever they are. Why would I be? I'd have to be against myself. But we're talking about business when I talk about reparations for my people. Okay, this is business I'm talking. Okay, and business is conducted with family, nuclear family. You understand, cuz? You get it, cuz? Okay, y'all ain't nuclear family. So that's why we get upset when you play Dr. King, because that's nuclear family. That's those of us that been in this pot cooker, that's been in this cooker, cooking for hundreds of years, in our DNA, passed down through our DNA. Y'all hear it in my voice. I heard somebody say it in the chat when I first got on here. Said he sounded like Stephen A. Smith, except better. Well, Stephen A. Smith sound like me, and I know a lot of people sound like Stephen A. Smith. A lot of you sound like me in my family, in my nuclear family. DJ sound like my family. Rev sound like my family. When I listen to those brothers and sisters that come over from Europe to play these roles, and I listen to their interviews, like I listened to David Kaluuya's interview on the Breakfast Club the other day, he don't sound like my family. He sound like my extended family, but he don't sound like my nuclear family. He don't sound like the family that's been in the pot with me, boiling, who helped me put myself a little bit on them to get a little bit off the flame. See, he wasn't here for that. He ain't a part. He wasn't a part of that. That's extended family was somewhere else. So when we talk about this subject, we talking about right here, and and the subject that's coming out right now, that's reparations, which is on the table, HR 40. This is addressing my family here, who've been in this mud with me. What y'all hear through me is my ancestors coming out of me, no matter what I look like. Because my grandfather's name was Preston Edward Douglas. And if anybody knows anything, whatever surname, whatever that last name you get, it's pretty much all those people are connected in many ways. We ain't talking about that long ago. I know I got fighters in my family. People that was a part of revolts and stuff, and people that got threw over the side, that got their feet cut off and all that. When I saw roots, I knew that I know I'm descended from them people, because I would have got my foot cut off too. I wouldn't have put up with that shit either. I would have ran. I would have tried to bust somebody's head to the white meat. Yep, I would have did the same thing, Bernie Mac. See, what y'all got to understand is that we all family, but not all of us are nuclear family. What separates us as nuclear family is where we come from, geography, and where we was cooked at, how we marinated. And that's what that's what Rev is talking about. So this AAU thing, see, I can't tell you to go AAU, not go AAU. This is what I'm gonna tell you. If you love basketball and you can't live without it, then that's where you need to be, in that place. You will find what you need and who you need to be with. That love for that game will lead you to them and lead them to you. See, because like energy is drawn into itself. What that means is polar opposites don't draw themselves. Like energy is drawn into itself. So what you looking for is looking for you. That's how it works. We live in that kind of universe. See, I was looking for Rev now. I was looking for DJ. They was looking for me. See? So when we came together, it works seamlessly, because it ain't us, it ain't about us. It's about who sent us, why we here in the first place. Energetically, divine appointment, time and space put together for this time and space. To do what? A certain message. What is that message? To help reframe the questions, because it's time for them to change, because the results that they have been producing are not sustainable. And anybody that thinks so must be deaf and blind, and didn't just see what happened on January 6th. That happened in this country. And I'll pass. Thank you, my brothers.
Powerful, 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 powerful. Boy, if new media wasn't around, we wouldn't have discussions like this. Discussions that are definitely needed. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the sister, Claudia Portia Taylor. She says, skin folk aren't always kinfolk. Amen. Amen, sister. Shout out to Douglas Anderson. Shout out to everybody who supports the channel, support the message. Any last words, Rev?
Yeah. The last word that I'm gonna say, brother, is thank both of you brothers for everything that you're giving the people, and dealing with personal things in our own life, because like Nipsey said, man, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. You know what I'm saying? So for you brothers to go through what you go through in your own lives and still have the heart, with all the heartbreak that you experience, because all of us experience heartbreak, to still have enough love in you to come on here and speak to the people is an underestimated quality. So I want to thank both of you brothers for that. So that's one of the things I'll say. The last thing I'll say to sum everything up, I saw a comment that said it was talking about Steve Harvey and what he said to our sister Monique when he was telling her that, you can't just come and do what you want to do. It's the money game. You got to play the money game. I'm so glad that Coach exposed that narrative. That's not true. That's not true. It's a level that money can't even buy you past. So I don't ever want anyone ever taking the message from us on this platform that it is ever okay to sell your morals and what you stand for down the road. And one of the things that DJ always says to me is he just wants to be him. He's not trying to be this person. He ain't trying to be that person. DJ is trying to be him. And that's what we love you for, brothers. So thank you for the platform. Thank you for new media, where we can start with a topic like LaMelo Ball and we end up down the rabbit hole. So thank you, brother, for the platform. And thank you, Coach, for coming on and always cooking, man.
No doubt, no doubt. And shout out to Ball Facts. Great channel he has. He says, put 3 like-minded people in one room, and this is what it sounds like. Thank you, my brother. Just trying to speak truth. And coach, any last words, my brother?
Well, I want to say thank you again, DJ, for providing the platform and the dream and the sweat equity and all of the energy that it takes for you to do what you do, and for providing this platform for us to be able to come here, to come together and speak individually, but still of the whole. See. And I love that. And to all of the brothers and sisters in the chat who gave of their time as well, I know that's not a little thing in the world we live in. So thank you so much for bringing your efforts to this, because this is about you and me. I'm going to always lead with the Ubuntu, which is what I learned when I lived in Africa. And it means because of you, I am. Because of me, you are. And anybody that knows me know I don't have any hate in my heart for people. See, my heart is pure. But the Most High created me to be the truth and to deal with the consequences of the truth. And I have been dealing with that my whole life. And I will continue to deal with the consequences of the truth. But I will continue to stand for it. Socks, draws, and all. So thank you, fam.
Right on. And shout out to Portia Taylor. She says, white ice ain't cooler. Support Black business. Expect a hand up, not a handout. Love together, build together, and support each other. New media. Exactly. We got to support each other, man. And every time we support, don't worry about, oh, it's not enough. When you're giving back to your community, it's always enough. No matter if it's a penny, a dollar, I go out of my way. I just look for stuff to give back to the community. Somebody has some hats I like, I'm buying it from a Black business. Anybody got some one of them candles, I go get it. Clothing, I shop it. Entertainment, I buy it. We got to get to this mindset because we have been indoctrinated that if we don't spend within our community, that it's normal. It's normal to spend on other communities but our own. We have been conditioned on that. We cannot change the world until we change ourselves, like Biggie would say. And we got to start doing that more. Shout out to all the family in the chat. New Media is a family. New Media Nation is everything. Shout out to Claudia again for the $10 super chat. Let's grow this channel out and let's make New Media Nation United into the biggest media network in the planet. And we'll be the only ones keeping it real like this. I promise you that. Peace and blessings.